Hello, everyone. Welcome back to X-Rays, where we take a look at industry evolution through the eyes of those creating change and innovation. I'll be your host, Rosalie, for this online show where we'll discuss and learn the latest, most exciting developments from industry leaders, pioneers, and innovators who are shaping the future. Today, we were speaking with Joel Frenette. He is the CTO of TravelFun.biz, an award-winning host travel agency. TravelFun.biz specializes in training programs for agents, having produced the world's first AI for travel agents program, which focuses on training agents worldwide on how to use AI to generate leads and become more efficient and automated. So, without further ado, let us welcome our guest. Joel, how are you doing today?
Oh, thanks for having me on the show. Yeah, I'm super fantastic. Yeah.
Great to hear. Wonderful. Yeah, I'm looking forward to our conversation today and to hearing an update on everything that's going on with your business. And I believe, first and foremost, you just won a prestigious Magellan Award for AI-based training in the travel industry. So congratulations on that.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
could you tell us about this project and what makes it unique?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the Magellan Award is the industry um the industry standard for a recognition. And this is the third year that our small, fast-growing agency has been able to capture a prize. And so we won for best social media marketing training for agents, the best AI, the best travel agent training program last year, and this year it's the best AI training program for travel agents. And the program itself, it's not just about learning how to use tools, because that's great in your capacity as a travel agent to learn how to be more productive and stuff. But we're empowering the agents to nurture the relationship with their customers and lean on AI. So it's a human centric approach, which doesn't put the tools in front of the agent trying to replace the agent, and it's more of being more productive and tying up your free time so that you can have the tools, do the tasks that are mundane, that are boring, that are repetitive, that you don't like to do anyway, so you can focus on conversations with your guests.
Mm, mm. Oh, that's really wonderful. And you've also been doing deep research into human-centric AI, especially in hospitality and travel. What inspired this direction?
Well, it's kind of a long story. I've been studying for my master's as a side project for the longest time. Funny thing is, I started in 1998. I was living in London, England, bartending, and I was looking to, boost my career, and I thought getting an MBA would be a great idea. So I signed up for Edinburgh Business School at the time, in 1998. It was a book, and it was distance learning wasn't really a big thing then, but it was for me. I was traveling the world as a bartender, backpacking, and so I signed up and I did the economics class. But then I got a position as a butler on Princess Cruises, and I spent 5 years traveling the world. So I forgot about my MBA. I kind of put that aside. Decades later, clearing my filters in my email, the school had emailed me and said, "You finished your economics? Are you, of course, are you going to write the exam this semester?" This was decades later, so I was still in the system. And so I said, "I'm still registered. This is from '98," and they said, "Sure." So from 2020, um, I finished. I passed the exam. Then I did the project management exam. Then I did the strategy exam, and I transferred my credits to another school in Spain. And so since 2020, I've been studying for a triple master's. I completed just in July my MBA, master's in project management, and master's in AI for business.
Mm,
And
mm.
so
Oh,
in this time frame of studying for these courses, I've been able to not only do research papers on how AI is affecting the service industry, but also put it into practice in my day to day because I'm the CTO of a
mm,
fast growing travel agency. So it's been a wonderful overlap on those three projects.
absolutely, I can imagine. That's really impressive, pursuing three very advanced degrees while managing so much. So, what was the most rewarding part of that academic journey?
Well, being recognized in the industry, winning the awards is great, but on a day to day, managing, seeing the evolution of the travel industry, with online travel agencies, OTAs, sorry, industry term, Booking.com, Priceline, um, Expedia.com. Those got very popular, and the travel agency model really collapsed, right? So you don't see storefronts anymore. You don't see the traditional in the strip mall little office where you go sit and chat with your agent and book tickets and print out the tickets and they run the credit card on the machine. That's long gone now. And so it transformed the industry. And when COVID hit, there was another transformation for the better for us, for travel agents. The need was very front and center for a travel agent because if you had booked online and your travel plans got changed dramatically or the laws changed and things were changing drastically and quickly, there was no one to call. There was a 1-800 number with nobody there, robots answering your calls. So that's when travelers really realize the value of having a travel agent, somebody who's going to care, who you know, who you call, and they solve for you. And now there's another fear going through the industry that, AI and AI tools are going to replace travel agents. And there's, very easy tools to plan your itinerary. So that's scary. So the fear of being replaced by AI is out there. And so being empathetic to that and being able to, teach people, to travel agents, teach travel agents that these tools are not going to replace you, but somebody who is using these tools will outperform you. They will outsell you. They're going to be on social media and have much more content. They'll have many more followers. They'll close more deals because they're being more effective and more productive by using AI tools. So being able to teach my agents that not to fear it, embrace it, lean on it, and this is how you get ahead. You become 10x, 20x more productive. I keep telling them you're an agency of one now. You are the agency and you have 20 bots. These are your agents working for you.
Absolutely. Well,
So that's been really rewarding. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I can absolutely see how that would really, enhance the process as well and make things more streamlined. And yeah, so let's talk about your recent travels. I heard there was a magical cruise in Tahiti.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, of course, being a travel agency, you gotta have a specialty. Our background was singles and groups of singles. For a decade, my wife was the lead cruise director, leading groups of singles on trips and maybe has 500 cruises under her belt. And growing the agency now, we have agents that specialize in different things. We have one that specializes in Alaska. She lives in Alaska. We have some that specialize in Italy, and they do the tours with the chefs and rent the villas and everything. So we all have our specialties and a background. But coming from the background of groups of singles for decades, and over those decades, many of the singles have met and become couples and gotten married. And so in July, we organized the trip. So it was a nice power couples on power yacht theme. So on a small ship around Tahiti, around the Tahitian Islands for 7 days, with 30 couples that all had married and met through my wife Shelby's singles trips and groups. So it was a very interesting get together, and we all had that same familiar background. And Shelby and I too. We met on cruises back in 1999. Is a long story, but so we all had that in common. So that was a great trip.
I can imagine. That sounds really wonderful. And you also
Mhm.
just explored Japan. How was that experience for you?
Well, if you're going to fly to the other side of the world, you might as well stay for a while, right? So we did a 7 day cruise, and we took another, 10 days of rediscovering Japan. And I'll say rediscovering. Um, we really like doing familiarization trips and planning out and getting to see locations. Uh, Doing the social media content and everything while you're on site is great, but it's really preparing for other people to go back year after year. So we are now promoting a trip in the spring to go back to Japan, etc. But our adventure there was great. We got to see I got to see an old IT director that I worked with for many years at one of my previous jobs because he's from Tokyo, so we were in Tokyo for a day and got to spend time with him. But the country itself, the people are so warm, welcoming. Like it's the most friendly, I would say, safe, most clean, um, the most timely, most organized country everywhere. You don't know Japanese, but you got Google Lens and you can just get around. And you got Google Translate, and you can get by. And it's still cheap. And I would say if anybody's listening and they're interested in Japan, they are implementing one of the world's first dual price systems. So soon they started already, and it'll be fully implemented by 2027, I believe. But they're basically be tourist and local prices for everything.
Oh.
So if you travel now before that's fully implemented, you'll still get the local price. They
Mm,
haven't increased it for tourists yet.
mm.
So, three of us going out for dinner would be like $30.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's very, very reasonable, but not for long.
Imagine. So it's a go while you still can kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
Japan is amazing. Yeah.
Mm, mm. And
But
now you're
the,
headed back to
Mhm.
Southeast Asia and cruising with Princess again. What's the story there?
Yeah, that's an interesting story. So working on Princess for 5 years myself on 9 different ships. So I was at sea for 5 years, and Shelby, my wife, she was at sea with Princess for 8 years. At the time, I was a butler in 1999 on the Grand Princess. When I met her, she came on board as the fitness manager, and then we reconnected a year later on a Princess ship out of Vancouver, and then she called me and she said, "I'm going to be in Vancouver," and I happen to be on vacation in Vancouver. So great, yeah, I'll come, I'll meet you. So we spent 2, 3 days together after only having seen each other for a week like the year before, but it was love at first sight, really. She sailed off on the ship, so I called head office and said, I have to get on that ship. I need a contract on that ship. And it just left Vancouver. It's going to Hawaii. It's 5 days at sea. So I have to be in Hawaii in 5 days. Let's go. And they said, "Oh, well, they already have two butlers and they signed 6 month contract. You can join after that." I said, "No, she's gonna be gone. I need to be there in 5 days, right?" So I'll do anything. I'll, scrape barnacles. I'll clean toilets. Oh, you'll clean toilets? Okay, we need a cabin steward. So I took a job demotion as from butler to cabin steward, and I flew out to Hawaii and I joined the ship and I cleaned thousands of toilets so I could be with her. So that was 25 years ago. And we sailed through Southeast Asia together on Princess. Now, with all the cruising that we've done, I've never been a passenger on Princess Cruise. So I worked on them for 5 years. And so this is the first cruise 25 years later back in Southeast Asia where we were back in the day. And
Mm,
so we get to relive that. And this time we get to share it with our son, which is great.
mm,
Mhm.
mm. That's a really
Yeah.
wonderful story. Very, very heartwarming to hear. And it must be such a wonderful thing as well to be able to go
There's a
back.
lot of up and down in between, but
Yeah.
yes, we
Well,
made
yes, I mean
it.
that's part of every great story, I think, personally.
Yeah. Hmm.
And you're also part of the Forbes Tech Council. What's your focus there and how has it helped your mission?
Oh, that's been a fun side project as well. Well, really high performing individual with very little sleep. I joined the Forbes Tech Council as a member back in February, and that allows, Forbes magazine allows you to contribute and submit articles. So I've submitted 3 articles already. I'm writing back and forth with the editor now on my fourth article to be published with them. And also on a weekly or actually bi-weekly basis, they submit articles that you can add your comments to. And so you also get featured or quoted on other people's articles. And so it's a great way to connect with executives in the same space. They have different communities on there that you can join. So I'm on the tech council, there's an AI council, there's business council, et cetera. So it's a really great networking opportunity and a great way to get your message out. And my focus all last couple of years has been on human-centric AI. I know AI is, coming to take these jobs. So my big push is for executives to understand that there's a way to do it and a way to do it right and a way to do it wrong. And I've already had feedback from executives that, it's all about reducing headcount. And that's doing it wrong. It's not about buying a tool to replace individuals. It's really about enhancing our work-life balance and making work easier and more enjoyable. I mean, there's a lot of copy paste, click here, mundane tasks that people do that can just be automated
Mm,
and relieve the nonsense from a lot of your tasks and your processes that you do on a daily, weekly basis. I logged myself just some of the dumb tasks that I do to get ready for work. There's 2 hours spent just doing nonsense that I can automate, and that frees up 2 hours of my day just
mm,
with a few tools.
mm,
So it's been amazing just for myself, but at an executive level, it really helps to have those conversations because the impact that these individuals are going to go back to their, they're going to go back to their companies and back to their workforce and make positive changes that affect hundreds of thousands of lives. So that's been a really good positive impact.
absolutely. And what's your core mission now, if you had to sum it up in one sentence?
Yeah, I want to bridge technology with humanity in the sense that, like I was saying, it's not just about reducing headcount with tools, and it's about making, making people's work lives easier and more effective and more productive with a few simple automations or AI tools, and really rethinking work
Mm,
and what we do for work and how we do work. I mean, one of the other positives that came out of the COVID disaster pandemic was that companies realized, executives realized that people can work remotely, and that is true. We can work remotely, but we can also work a lot less. So we'll get there.
yeah,
Yeah.
eventually, yeah. And what's
Yeah.
the advice you would give to young professionals who are looking to innovate in tech and travel?
Yeah, any innovation in tech, I like that. Not just in travel, but innovate in tech. Try to put the people first, keep human in the loop. Start with like empathy. Start with empathy because people are afraid. Like AI is coming for their jobs. And so if you can lead with empathy and start a project and address the elephant in the room, that we're going to have a project to streamline or improve the call center activity. Okay, great. Now the call agents are going to be worried about losing their jobs, so you got to address that immediately, and they will get on board and get behind that if there's a proper plan and it's addressed. So it's about empowering you to be more effective at your job by using AI tools. We're not reducing headcount. And if anybody wants to move to the AI department and start programming robots, you get double the salary by moving over there.
Mm,
Fantastic. That's a win-win, you know?
mm, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for talking to us today, Joel. It was so interesting to hear all about, the updates with your business and the stories behind it as well, and also your thoughts on AI. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, thanks for having me. There's a few months, maybe 6 months went by. There's so much that happened to
Yeah,
keep
definitely
going. There'll be
sounds
many
like
more in the next few months as well.
it. Yeah, well, exciting times ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, and to our listeners at X-Rays, thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Rosalie, and I'll see you next time.